Hey makeup friends! Today I'm going to be sharing with you all of the makeup items that I picked up in the month of June, and there are quite a few, so let's get into this. As always, I want to start off by welcoming you back to my channel, or if you are new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and on my channel, we like to mix beauty, brains, and the occasional F-bomb. Quickly, what I have going on my eyes is the Passion in Paris palette, and on my lips, I have a lipstick from MAC in the shade Midi Mauve, which is one of their luster finishes. We will include these where appropriate in this haul. But first, what I want to do is I want to start off with the items that I received either as gifts or as PR. So we will deal with those first and then get into the items that I've purchased myself. So first up, I want to share the gifts that 2 of my subscribers sent me last month, and I'm just so very appreciative of these items. First up here is the Bite Beauty Upswing Mascara. You guys have heard me rave about this for months at this point. And one of my subscribers sent me the full size, and I'm just so appreciative. I love this so much, and it was just such a nice and pleasant surprise. Likewise, over here, another subscriber sent me some items from Lisa Eldridge. She sent me one of the lip glosses and the new liquid blush. She also sent me a lipstick, which I have torn this room apart and my purse, and what I suspect that I have done is left it on my desk at my office because I can't find it in my house. And I have been wearing it to work quite frequently, so I suspect that I've just left it on my monitor holder, so I will find it when I go into work tomorrow. But thank you both so much for your generosity and for thinking of me. I appreciate it more than I can say. Now, also, I am incredibly grateful for all of the PR that I have received. I do not feel entitled to PR. I do not expect brands to give me things, and so when they do, I am just blown away, and I do not take it for granted at all. And I've got quite a few items here. So first up is this palette here from What's Up Beauty. This is their Desert Monsoon palette. I did do a dedicated review on this, as well as the brushes that they sent me. I do have some brushes in various areas right now. Some of them have had a bath, some of them are dirty waiting to be bathed, and some of them are in the holder. So I didn't go and collect them all, but I will say, not only do I love the palette, but I really love the brushes that they sent me. So if you are in the market for some new eye brushes, I would definitely check out What's Up Beauty because they are excellent quality. Also, I received PR from Look Fantastic, and this was the palette that I chose. So they gave me a budget, allowed me to pick the items that I wanted, which I really appreciate that because then you are getting things that work for you or items that you're really interested in trying. The whole theming behind the campaign was for Pride Month. I did say in the video that I did for that I was going to be donating all of the AdSense that I received off of that video. The AdSense was very minor, so I'm actually going to top it up and I'm going to do a donation for $50 total. The AdSense I think was in the neighborhood of about $10. It really wasn't a lot. I will pop it up on the screen here, and I'm also going to include a screenshot of my donation so that you can see I did make good on that. So this was the palette that I chose for that campaign. This one's from Illamasqua, and it's the Experimental Artistry palette. And it just fit perfectly with the theme because it is obviously a rainbow palette. And then as well as that, I also picked 2 of the Nude Sticks blushes here. So one of them I picked up was Cherry Blossom Babe, one of their Nudies Blooms. And then one of their regular Nudies all over face colors I picked up in the shade Bareback. I have to say, between the 2 of them, I prefer Bareback. It's a matte finish, and it's just a little bit of a deeper, more rosy toned color. This one has a little bit more of a sheen to it. It's still pretty, but I just tend to prefer the matte finish more on myself. And then lastly in that set, I also picked up this foundation here from Kogan Do. This is the Aqua Foundation, and I have it in the shade 113. I love this foundation, and I hate that I love it because it is very pricey. It's the foundation that I'm wearing right now. It's just so lightweight and yet has this really beautiful finish on the skin, and I can see myself coughing up the money to replace this once I do use it all. Additional PR that I received is here from Odin's Eye. So they reached out and they wanted to send me their newest collection, which I did do a dedicated video on, their Saga of Freya. which included 3 different palettes, along with some various other items, again, including a brush set. I do like those brushes, but I prefer the ones from What's Up Beauty. These palettes are beautiful though, and I will try to remember to link my video on that in the cards up here. But they also offered to send me some other items from their collection just to try their items out. So I did select this palette here. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, but it's Soulmane, I believe. I'm sure it's pronounced differently than that. I haven't had an opportunity to play with this one yet, but I think it's just such a really pretty color story. And this one will go great for office looks for me. So I'm really excited to play with that one. I also picked up one of their highlighters. So I have used this one in a video, and unfortunately it pulls really gold on me, and I'm not so sold on it because it almost looks like glittery gold. I think it's a really pretty finish on it, but the color is just a little off for me. So it's not my favorite color, but I do like the actual formula of the highlighter. The blush, I really like this blush. This is one of their fruit blushers, and this one is in the shade Ripe Papaya. And it's just like this really pretty apricot kind of shade. And then lastly, I picked up one of their liquid lipsticks, and this is in the shade Ripe Papaya as well. And it's sort of like a burnt terracotta kind of color, and I think this is going to be perfect for fall for me. And then lastly for PR, I received the Flower Punk collection from Kaleidos, or at least a portion of it. So I did get their lip balm, which I actually quite like. It's very lightweight, so for me this is a good daytime lip balm. It's not something that I would wear as like a lip treatment overnight, but during the day this one really works nicely. And then the palette itself is stunning. So the lid just comes right off with magnetic closure, and then there are the shades in there. I did wear these shades over here in a recent video. I just can't remember what that video was, but I did receive a lot of compliments on it because this sparkly shade right here, am I pointing at it? Yes. It's stunning. It is absolutely beautiful. So this is a palette that I've been really enjoying wearing. And then they also sent me 4 of their lip products here. And these are sort of like those, like a blurred matte kind of look. And there's some really interesting colors in here, including like a really pretty teal shade. I just haven't worn the eye makeup to wear with these lipsticks, but I think these are going to be like an excellent option in fall and winter again, just because they are all on like the deeper sort of vampier side, with the exception of one pink shade that they sent, which is like a really bright fuchsia kind of color. And I really like this one as well. I just find that these are nice, lightweight matte lipsticks. They're not super drying or anything of that sort. They almost still feel like emollient. They don't dry down completely. So I find them really comfortable to wear, but with these darker shades, I'm gonna have to put them to the test to see if they bleed or feather or smudge around, anything of that sort. I just haven't had an opportunity to play with them yet. All right, that takes care of all the items that I received as gifts and PR. So now let's get into the items that I actually purchased myself. All right, so let's talk about eyeshadow palettes first, and these are the ones that I picked up. So first of all, I picked up the Pearl palette from BH Cosmetics, and I have done a review on this. It's a really pretty neutral palette. And then I also picked up this neutral palette here from Artist Couture. This is the Supreme Bronze palette. And I'm still a little on the fence about this one. However, this shade right here is absolutely stunning. The quality of the shadows is perfectly fine. I have no complaints about it. It's just the pictures made it look like it was going to be a little bit more vibrant than it actually is. So I was a bit disappointed when I saw it in person. However, once it is applied to the eyes, it's beautiful. But again, I think that this is more of like a fallish kind of palette for me. I mean, you can wear any color any time of the year. There's no rules about that. But for me, these are the kind of tones that I gravitate towards more when the leaves look like these colors. So I'm going to hold on to it. I think it applies really, really nicely. It is a beautiful palette. It's just not what I was expecting, and that kind of took me back a little bit. All right. I picked this palette up here. This is from Jouer. This is the Tan Lines palette. It's been around for a while now. Like I want to say 2, maybe even 3 years. And it's been one of these things that has just lived in my loves list. I add it there, I take it out. I put it in my cart, I take it out. I don't know what it is. It just took me forever to pull the trigger on it. And then I finally did. And naturally, because I've been basically hyping it up in my mind for the last 2 to 3 years, it's disappointed me. So in here, the mattes are really nice. I have no complaints about them, but these shimmer shadows, not wild on. I just find that they're difficult to apply. In particular, these two over here, they don't pick up nicely with the brush. They're almost like too hard pressed in there. So I do have to use a finger with them, which is fine. They don't have the payoff that I was really hoping for, and it's just left me wanting more. I probably honestly should have returned this palette, but lesson learned. You know what? I don't know what that lesson is, to be honest. I don't know. If you have experience with some of the more recent Jouer palettes, please feel free to let me know in the comments whether you like them, whether you have any issues, particularly with the shimmer shadows. I'm just a little gun shy of trying any more of their eyeshadow palettes at this point based on my experiences with this one. Now, as I said earlier, I do have the Passion in Paris palette on my eyes from BH Cosmetics. That is what she looks like in there. And I also picked up the new Party in Puerto Rico palette as well from BH. So there's that one. I did a dedicated review with the two palettes and created a look using both of those palettes. When I placed my order, I was far more excited about this one. I just thought the color story was a bit prettier, a little bit more on the nose for summertime. But now that I've had the opportunity to play with both of them, this is the one that I am far more drawn to. I really just think it's so beautiful, and it's got such a nice balance of warm and cool tones in there. And again, I mean, the quality of BH is so very consistent from palette to palette. I have no complaints about either one of these ones. From a quality perspective, they're both right up there with all of the other palettes that I've tried from BH. I'm really trying to think of one that was a dud, and I really can't think of any. I wasn't super wild on Ruby for July, but that was more to do with the color story than anything else. Those shimmers did need a little bit of setting spray, but that is not the case with these ones. These are not playing around. So I am just in love with BH Cosmetics, as you probably have already figured out. Another palette that I fell in love with in June was this one here from Lunar Beauty. This is the Life's a Drag Facelift palette. And the blue shade is falling apart on me. Some of it just crumbled out of the pan, unfortunately. But it's such a nice mix of neutrals and colorful options. I actually love that the pan sizes are so small. I actually really like that. They're not so small that they're difficult to work with, but there's actually a chance that I might hit pan on one of these shades at some point in the future, and I appreciate that. I like that it's a largely matte palette with these nice shimmers in here. This one can either be applied on its own or can be used as a topper. And overall, the quality of this palette is fantastic. I am just so blown away with the quality, how they perform, the pigmentation, all of it. I love this palette so much. And then I have some palettes here that I just haven't had an opportunity to play with yet. When I hurt my back, I was out of commission for like a solid week, and I just didn't do any makeup during that time because sitting in this chair was basically torture. So I haven't had an opportunity to play as much as I would have liked to, but here we are. So there is this one here from Glamlight. This is the, I think it was like red velvet cupcake. I don't know, it doesn't say, but there's a red velvet cupcake on it, so we'll go with that. Anyways, this is the kind of color story that was like meant for me. I love these tones. I think they do amazing things for my eye color. They make them so green. Can't wait to play with this one, just haven't yet. And then there's this one here from Alien Cosmetics. This is the Strawberry Milkshake palette. And there we have it. Giant pans in there. And I'm really intrigued by it, especially that row of greens, and in particular this green. I think it's such a beautiful, like grassy green. And I'm really looking forward to playing with it. I just, again, have not yet. Have I? Maybe I played with it once, but not on camera. I seem to recall using this really dark shade over here in a look, so maybe I used it just with another, I don't know. Anyways, I haven't used it on camera, but maybe one day I will. We'll see. I don't know. At any rate, I have it. Okay, and then there's this one here. This is from Peachy Queen Cosmetics. This is the Tiffany palette, appropriately enough. I have a little bit of a beef with Peachy Queen. So first of all, I haven't tried the palette yet, although I think the colors are very pretty. It swatches nicely. I have no complaints there, but I ordered a lipstick with this. It didn't arrive. So I emailed them and they said, okay, we're going to check into it. I'll send you new tracking. We'll send it out right away. No problems. That was several weeks ago. I emailed them again to be like, hey, can I just get a refund, please? Like, I still haven't got the tracking. I still haven't got the lipstick. Just give me a refund. It's totally fine. They responded and said, oh, we'll look into it and get back to you. That was at least a week ago at this point. Still don't have a refund. Still don't have tracking. Don't have a further response. Don't have the lipstick. I'm a little pissy. It wasn't an expensive lipstick, but that is not the point. The point is, if somebody requests a refund because you haven't sent the product, give them the goddamn refund. So I will be following up and I will not be nearly as polite as I have been. And also, I'm going to include this in a video. So buyer beware, Peachy Queen. There we go. The last palette that I picked up is this giant ass thing here from ABH. It went on sale. I lost my mind. There it is. I don't need a palette this big. I don't know what I was thinking, except that it has blue in it and I like blue. That's my justification. I don't even remember how much I paid for it. I think it went down to like under $30. Like it was like a steep discount, at least 50% off. I think there's some really, really beautiful shades in here. I don't think I need a palette this big, but I have it. So basically I never need another blue eyeshadow in my life because they're all in here. I think it's a beautiful palette, but I haven't played with it yet. So I can't tell you if the intensity of the colors that you see in the pan show up on the eyes. Here's hoping. All right. That rounds it out for eyeshadow palettes. There are two more that we're going to talk about. We'll talk about them next because they go in a separate category. It'll make sense in just one second. All right, the other two eyeshadow palettes that I got are from Kiko Milano. I said in a recent video that I actually rented a PO box in California, so now I can order things that only ship to the States to that PO box. They then have like a forwarding and / consolidation kind of thing. So if I order from two separate things or place two separate orders or 3 or 4 or however many, they will actually consolidate them and just send it all forward to me in one box. So I only have to pay the shipping on it once. So it's worked out really well. I haven't used it a ton because it is still expensive to ship from them to me, even with that consolidation option. But I managed to get my hands on some Kiko Milano and I'm very, very excited about that. I wanted to try them for ages. Kiko, their website themselves, don't ship to Canada, and Ulta has decided no longer to ship to Canada. Why? I don't know. They used to. They don't anymore. Bastards. Anyways, here we are. I found a workaround. So I picked up these two palettes here. They're both the Dolce Diva eyeshadow palettes. This one is in shade 2 Sleek Mauve. They kind of remind me of like the Charlotte Tilbury ones, just with like the gold and the lettering down here, the 4 pans. I really like it. I like the packaging on them. I have used this one. I haven't used the other one. This one is shade 1 Stylish Coral. And the quality of these is impressive, to be honest. The mattes are beautiful in here and these shimmers are so nicely intense and they last all day on the eyes. So I'm very happy with this palette in particular, and I imagine that the other one is going to perform every bit as nicely. I also picked up their Dolce Diva bronzer. Freaking love this packaging. I also got one of their blushes. Just like this metallic matte finish and the color. Oh, I want a car this color. I think it's gorgeous. So this is the baked bronzer in the shade 1 Special Honey. Basically, I'm going to have bronzer for the rest of my life because it's massive. But it is a very nice bronzer. It's not too orangey, but has a nice amount of warmth to it to really warm up the skin. And then the bronzer here is the Baked Blush Trio in Better Coral. So it's just a bit of a swirl, but actually I really like that. I don't typically like split pans or when there's multiple colors, but this one, it makes it very easy. You can just swirl it and there it is. And it's just such a soft gradient that it's not like you're gonna get like a big strip of gold mixed in with some coral or something of that sort. I really like that. And then I did pick up one of their highlighters. I'm not gonna open it because it came like absolutely obliterated. So this is the Dolce Diva Baked Highlighter in Lively Champagne. Okay, I will open it, but I can't show you. Like it came absolutely destroyed. It is a little bit deep for me, even though it is like their lightest shade. The fact that it's smashed, it's not really the end of the world for me because it's actually a bit too deep for me. I could wear it as an eyeshadow. We'll see. It's going to come down to like cost benefit analysis. Like, how much time is it going to cost me to repress this versus what am I actually going to get out of it? We will see. I love the packaging on it. I'm a little bummed that it shattered, but of all the things that could have shattered, I'm glad it was that one over the other items. Then when I placed that order from Ulta, I picked up a few other items as well. I grabbed another one of the trios from e.l.f. This one is in the shade trio. That's a duo. Hi, two. This one is in the shade Cantaloupe. I have White Peach and I really like it. And I really like this one as well. These are very impressive for being like $3 items. Then I picked up the NYX Control Freak Eyebrow Gel as well. I haven't played with it yet because I've been going hard on my Dior tinted brow gel. I don't know what it's called and I can't see it easily. It's in the sea of shit that needs to be put away. Another byproduct of being out of commission is that stuff is just like piled up everywhere. Anyways, lastly in that order, I also picked up 3 of the liners from LA Girl, the Shockwave liners. And I think I've used the purple one and I enjoyed that one. I haven't used these 2 yet, but I will, and now I have them. So there is that from Ulta. And apparently June was like the month of liners for me because I picked up 4 other ones and I don't know why I picked up so many goddamn liners. I cashed in some Shoppers Drug Mart points and put these ones in as that, so I didn't actually pay for them out of pocket per se. These ones are all from Urban Decay. They're 24/7 Glide-On eye pencils. I picked up Sabbath, which is like a really dark teal color, Electric Empire, which is a bit of like a sparkly green, and then Freak, which is like a really bright lime green. And then this one over here is from Adept Cosmetics. They had a sale. I must have bought, oh yes, I did. I bought a lipstick with it as well. Where the hell, where is it? There it is. I bought a lipstick with it as well, so we'll talk about that. This one is their all day, everyday pencil in RX Queen, Prescription Queen. That sounds sus. Anyways, it's like a gunmetal kind of shade. And then with that one, I purchased one of their new nude lipsticks. This one is in the shade Hora, and it's just like a really pretty peachy kind of nude. I have to say the Melt lipsticks are not my favorite formula. They do go on really nicely, but I do find that they get a little bit gummy along the inside and it can create like a weird line there. So not my favorite, but I really do like this color. I love the detail on the bullet itself, but for actual wear time, not my favorite formula. Not the worst, but not my favorite. I did pick up some other lip items as well. So like I said, this is Midi Mauve, which is the shade that I'm wearing today. This is just like a perfect everyday lipstick for me, and I'm really, really digging it. I'm late to the game on this particular shade, but I am loving it. And then when I placed my order from Lunar Beauty, I also grabbed one of his glosses to give a try, and this one is in the shade Aura. It's just a really pretty nude kind of gloss. I really like the formula of it. I can't remember. Oh God, I got a sample of Tom Ford Bitter Peach perfume, and that's literally all I can smell. And it's sort of what I imagine like a long-term care facility to smell like. Like it's just almost antiseptic. Like I don't like the scent of it at all. It's very, very heavy and I don't like it. So I can't even smell the lipsticks because all I can smell is this freaking bitter peach nonsense that I really don't like. All right. Moving on from there, I did pick up some other lip items as well. One of them from Glossier, and this is in the shade Trench. I have absolutely no idea what it is. Oh, the Ultra Lip. Anyways, there it is. Never tried anything from Glossier before, so this one is sort of like, it's like a tinted lip balm, if you will, but it does have like good color payoff to it. So I like the formula of it. The color, again, this is one of those colors that I think would be better suited for fall for my own personal taste, so I'll hold on to it. And then this one here from Glossier, it's not a lip product, but this is one of their cloud paints, and I picked up the shade Storm. I like the formula of this. I don't like the color of this one. It's just too dark. I don't know why I thought that this would be a good shade for me, but it's not. It's workable, but like I have to work for it. I do have to blend it out really well, use just the tiniest little bit, and then I kind of have to pat whatever's left over on my foundation brush over top of it just to sheer it out a little bit because it is quite intense. Okay. The last lip product that I picked up, this kind of shocked the shit out of me, to be honest, because I just have not given two craps about Jaclyn Cosmetics, like at all. And then she came out with her blush line, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I will try some Jaclyn Cosmetics. So picked up one of her new lip products. I don't even know what this is called. What the hell? Why are these stickers so small? Oh my gosh. The lip cushion. This one is in the shade Last First Kiss, and it is a very, very pink kind of tone. It's got a little bit of like a rosy undertone to it, so it's not too like Barbie pink or too light pink on me. So it is actually a very flattering color. Not convinced it's my favorite formula. Again, it's sort of that like moussey kind of finish where it doesn't dry down completely. It's not the most long wearing liquid lipstick that I've tried. It's a pretty color. I will wear it again. It's just not my favorite formula. And then I also bought a few other things from her. So I got a mini highlighter. This one is in the shade Iced, and that is the highlight that I'm wearing today. I really like the highlighter. I'm not surprised that Jaclyn Hill, of all people, can do highlight well because she's very much known for her highlighter, and this one definitely delivers on that promise. I quite like it. I also picked up one of her brightening powders. So this is the under eye powder in Brightening Light Banana. And jury's still out on this one. So it is, every time I do this, I drop shit everywhere. So it does have a yellow tint to it. It's not so strongly yellow that underneath the eyes it looks a little like jaundiced or anything. It does blend out quite nicely. It can make it look a little dry under the eyes. So I'm still playing around with it, trying it with different concealers, seeing if it's just like a certain concealer that it doesn't like or not. It's not a terrible product. I haven't like been super dry and cakey under there, but I have noticed that it is a bit drier when I use this than when I use, say, this item that I also picked up in June, which is from Laura Mercier. And this is the Secret Brightening Powder for Under Eyes, and I have it in the shade 1. I prefer this over the Jaclyn Hill. But I did buy one other item from Jaclyn Hill, and that is one of her loose blushes. And basically, I'm going to have blush until the end of days because this thing a little goes a long way. This one is in the shade Love Language, and it's a really pretty, if I can just dump some of it into the lid. Can you see it? Camera? Hi, can you do it? Well, how about I just show you like this? There you go. It's like a really pretty corally pink kind of shade, but like a little goes a long way. Like you do not need a lot of this at all. And it blends out really nicely. It's got like a nice matte finish to it. There's no glittery chunks in it or anything of that sort. My only issue with it is just you can't really get an even application because it's a loose powder. If it's a pressed powder, like you swirl once, you know you're going to pick up the same amount for each swirl you do. With this one, it's a little bit trickier than that. But having said that, it is completely workable. I just tap a little bit of it into the lid and then I pick up with my brush from there, tap the brush off, and then go in and then just try to even them out. But there is a little bit of a learning curve to this, I find, but I do like this one over the under eye powder, but I really do like the blush. It's just don't go in with a heavy hand or else you're going to be wearing blush. We'll put it that way. Okay, there are a few other items. So since we're on the topic of blush, let's talk about them. So I did pick up this liquid blush here from Natasha Denona. This one is in the shade Tan. And I was concerned that it was going to be a little bit too brown and look a little weird and muddy on the skin. It's not. It's got like a peachy kind of undertone to it. So once it blends out, there is that warmth that comes through and it just looks like you're really sun-kissed. It's actually really beautiful on the skin. So I'm really enjoying that one. And then I did do a video on these. I picked up all 4 of the Kat Von D liquid blushes here, or the KVD or whatever the hell they're called now. But I ultimately only kept one. I kept Luminary. 2 of them were way too deep for me, and the other one I've had like replicated in a bunch of other liquid blushes. So ultimately I just kept one. I feel a little bad about returning it, but what's done is done. All right, and then the last blush that I picked up is from Dior. Again, Shoppers Drug Mart points. Love their point system so much. This one is in the shade Actrice, number 28, and it is like a vivid coral kind of color. And I'm loving this for spring and summer. It's so pretty. It's not too stark on my skin. It blends out really nicely, but it is that like pop of color. and I really love it. I think it's so pretty. And then, there is another lipstick that I didn't talk about. This one here is the newest shade from the Lip Bar. This is Mauve, and it's like a really pretty mauvey kind of color. Almost like a brown, like it's really cool toned, but it's actually really pretty. It's just got enough like purple undertone in there so that it's not harsh. Like I have a hard time wearing truly cool toned lipsticks. They just look odd on my skin, but this one I think is beautiful. And then last but not least, we've got 2 items from Vive. So I picked up one of her blushes. This one's in the shade Cherub. And there it is. They're a really pretty pink color, very intense. These are very intense. A little goes a long way. I've worn this a few times. You can't even tell because I literally just like tap my brush and that's sufficient for me. So if you're super fair, you might have a hard time with these unless, again, you just tap really lightly, tap off any excess, even though there probably won't be any, and then blend the hell out of it. But they're really pretty. They pack a punch. And then she also just recently released bronzer, so I picked up the Modern Bronzer Duo in Light. So there is a slightly more cool tone shade here, and then a warmer one over here. And these are perfect on my skin tone. I am really digging these ones as well. And I just frankly love her packaging as well. Like it just looks so classy and chic. Love. All right. And that's it. That's all I got in the month of June. It's insane how much it is. I didn't even think that I had actually ordered all that much, but it's funny how it adds up over 30 days. Oh, crap. And then I just saw this little lipstick here, sitting here from Kiko Milano. I have no idea. This is the Dolce Diva Glam Lip Stilo 01. The bronzer and the blush was all Dolce Diva as well as the eyeshadow palette. So I don't know if that's just like the collection name or if that's the shade name. I don't know. It's 01 at any rate. And it's freaking adorable. It's tiny. Like it's just the littlest little thing. But it's actually really pretty. It's a very comfortable finish. It's sort of like a creamier kind of lipstick with a little bit of a shine to it. Not a gloss, but a little bit more like a satin kind of finish. I am liking that one. This one's sort of like a peachy kind of color. Okay, that is it for the makeup that I got in the month of June. As I've been saying all throughout, some of these items I do have dedicated videos on already. Others I will talk about in like a rapid review kind of style video later on in July. But for today, I just wanted to do a show and tell. I have now shown and told, so let's wrap the video up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next one. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.